Hello. Today, 15th of June, Istanbul Aydin University Blockchain Talks webinars has a great speaker, Mr. Hasan Algarhy, who is the founder of Duverse, and he will talk us about what is the human-centric metaverse and why do we need it. I know Hasan that is very busy in his field. And first of all, thank you very much for sparing some time for our webinar. And with Hasan, we are also together in the World Metaverse Council as founders. So I think it will be very interesting and very fruitful speech of Hasan. Hasan, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Errol, and thanks for Istanbul Aydin University for hosting this event. So I'm going to share my screen now, and today, as you said, I'll be talking about a very interesting topic, which is what is a human-centric metaverse and why do we need it? And I'll speak about what could be the elements of a human-centric metaverse on a personal scale, on an urban scale, on a global scale even, and then I'll highlight a bit about what differentiates the human mind from artificial intelligence and how we can utilize that or build on that, basically. Great. So first, let's think of the metaverse as an ecosystem of technologies that includes virtual reality, augmented reality, extended reality, mixed reality, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and other technologies. And what we do is that we mix and match between these technologies in order to come up with the best strategy to achieve our goals and impact, whatever these goals are. If we want to improve, for example, the mental health and well-being of the users, or if we want to achieve an impact on an urban scale or even globally, or if you want to achieve an impact on a business to get a good return on investment. So what we do is that we select from these technologies what would work better for our use case. So if you want to try to define what could be a human-centric metaverse, then it would be utilizing the metaverse ecosystem of technologies to achieve positive humanized impacts, prioritizing the well-being and mental health of the users. So what could be the aspects of a human-centric metaverse? So we've defined 5 main aspects, and the first one would be the well-being. So basically utilizing the metaverse to improve the well-being of the users and achieve remarkable improvements in their lives. And then comes mental health, a systematic approach to achieving positive psychological impacts through the metaverse ecosystem of technologies. And then personalization, which is basically the ability to shape the metaverse environment's features and functionalities to suit individual needs. And then comes inclusivity, which is providing equitable opportunities for people with different abilities, backgrounds, and locations to participate and engage. And fifth, which is pretty important, comes collective intelligence, which is utilizing the human collective intelligence together with artificial intelligence to achieve positive impacts on a community or urban or global scales. And let me highlight a bit about the difference between collective intelligence and artificial intelligence. So collective intelligence refers to the combined knowledge, insights, and problem-solving capabilities of a group or community, harnessing the power of collaboration and diverse perspectives. While, as most of us know, artificial intelligence is basically computer systems and algorithms that can process large amounts of data and identify relationships and patterns. So collective intelligence originates from human individuals. It leverages on the diversity of perspectives, while artificial intelligence derives intelligence from programmed algorithms and machine learning models. So collective intelligence relies on human cognitive abilities, including critical thinking and creativity. And creativity is a key word here that we will talk a lot today about. While artificial intelligence utilizes the computational power of machines to process vast amounts of data and perform complex calculations. So let's try to discover what could be the layers of application of a human-centric metaverse. And of course, these layers are interconnected, interoperable. So on a personal level, and then community level, corporate level, on an urban or city scale, and then globally. So what could be the aspects or applications of a human-centric metaverse on a personal scale? So personalized improvements for personal well-being and mental health, personalized and mental health, personalized digital identity and digital footprint, personalized socializing and entertainment and leisure programs, personalized potential utilization programs. So, for example, many of us in some cases or some stages in their life, they don't know, for example, what college they want to go or what career they want to take or how to improve their financial situation. So through utilizing metaverse environments, metaverse solutions, which are powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning, we can definitely identify the potential, and this can help a lot in taking a path that is more likely to utilize your potential. And even many of the stressors are caused by financial stress or financial problems. So it can identify what could be the best approach to achieve financial stability and financial freedom based on your potential and on your capabilities. So this definitely could be done within a metaverse environment, which is powered by artificial intelligence and machine learning solutions. On a community scale, again, will come the potential identifiers kind of stuff, but will come the collective intelligence as well. So we mentioned what is collective intelligence and how and how a metaverse environment and artificial intelligence could identify the potential and the creativity within a community, and then give tools and recommendations on how this community can develop either economically or general development in general. And then on a corporate scale, and this is pretty important for companies as well, how to achieve employees' well-being and mental health based on a systematic and scientific experimental approach utilizing the metaverse and artificial intelligence. Because a big problem in corporations now is employee engagement, employee loyalty, and if employees are depressed or not engaged or demotivated, then the productivity levels will go down. And definitely we need to identify the reasons for all this kind of stuff. And again, we can utilize the metaverse and artificial intelligence to achieve that. And also comes collective intelligence tools on finding problem solving for the issues facing the business in general. Artificial intelligence could be used, but the creativity element of the human mind, and we will talk again about it later on, could make also more creative, strategic, and value-added solutions. And also definitely employee learning and development to identify the skills and the capabilities of your team and then come up with a learning and development plan for them. This could be done in a metaverse environment by also tracking and checking their progress and mentoring them. And of course, identifying their potential and the creativity in order to build on that. On an urban scale, we're going to talk a bit on details about it as well. So we want to identify what could be the personality of the city and then design a city which is human-centric, smart, responsive, and also identify the potential within the city and start working on it. I'll speak about it very soon. And then on a global level, definitely improving the mental health and well-being in general, and again, working on the collective intelligence and taking collective action against the global challenges, and also achieving better and improved and more informed global economic development. So coming to the city part or urban part, maybe some of us already know that it's estimated that by 2050, about 70% of the world's population will be living in cities. While some of us might not know that studies also show that people living in cities have a 21% increased risk of getting anxiety disorders, a 39% increased risk of getting mood disorders like depression, and almost twice the risk of getting other psychological issues like schizophrenia. And we need to ask the question, are these negative impacts due to the way we design and build our cities, or are they due to the habits and behavior of the inhabitants of the cities? And the answer would be, of course, both of these reasons have something to do with it. And through utilizing the metaverse, we can identify the reasons for these negative impacts and then take design decisions on an urban scale, on an urban development scale, and also personalized decisions on how we can actually achieve in the cities in general reduced stress, improved mood, improved cognitive performance, mitigate or eliminate the negative psychological impacts, humanize our cities, improve productivity and engagement, and attention, and ironically, actually, attention restoration. I mean, we're in the digital age and we're so much connected to our devices that our attention spans are getting much shorter. but we can utilize the metaverse and artificial intelligence to do some attention restoration. So for example, if you want to imagine the city as a person, what would happen if a city would take a personality test? And this test was actually done in a book called Psychology and the City by Charles Landry and Chris Murray, where they made this test on 11 cities to try to understand what could be the personality of the city. And the reason for that is because the personality of the city reflects on the inhabitants. So if it is chaotic, unsafe, there is no safe places to walk or jog or do sports, for example, then this will reflect on the inhabitants, of course. So we impact our cities and our cities impact us. So the test, for example, for Adelaide, it has suffered from lack of confidence that is slowly regaining and beginning to feel at ease with itself. Bilbao is proud, too proud. So this test, in a sense, we can utilize the metaverse and artificial intelligence to change the personalities of our cities to become smarter, human-centric, and empowering creativity. So an example of how that is done is like metaverse simulation methods that are used to help build an experimental science of urban design, where participants are placed into highly immersive simulations of city spaces using sophisticated head-mounted displays and precise motion tracking. They are able to walk freely through photorealistic simulations of urban spaces that are replete with depth, color, and motion, and then we can monitor their gaze, their movements, along with their psychology. Using a set of sensors, we can measure their gaze, their heartbeats, and the state of their autonomic nervous system as they react to arousing and stressful events. So how do our bodies react to events? By hormonal and neural response, right? So stress, cortisol levels, and this kind of stuff. So if we can identify how these environments are impacting us, of course, for example, we know that nature is impacting us in a negative way. We can go for a walk in nature, we will feel much better, right? So, for example, let's take a design decision in an area which is chaotic and take some design decision where we will put some natural elements, we will put some jogging tracks, places, safe places for people to walk, and then measure the impact on the participants. And then we have an experiment telling us that our decisions on an urban scale are correct and are having a positive impact on the residents. And this actually has been done in few cities, and they have a lab in the University of Waterloo in Canada. They are doing something like that. There have been some changes also in like Bogota in Colombia, where they do some changes in the city, and it significantly decreases, for example, the crime rate and the rate of accidents. So this kind of stuff, to utilize the metaverse to understand the first personalized experience on a personal level, and then on a city scale level, and how we can improve the general safety, general mental health, general well-being of the inhabitants of the cities. So I'm going to show some of the psychology schools that could be utilized within this environment, and I think that psychology experts can play an important role in creating human-centric metaverse platforms, basically by integrating the relevant schools of psychology. So, for example, the psychodynamic theory that studies how our early life experiences shape the person that we turn out to be today. And I'd like to highlight here that it's not what we should be doing is not the kind of social engineering or dictating behavior to people, but it's sort of doing the thing that, for example, let's get an example. If you know that junk food is not good for your kids, you would give them healthy food. This is the whole idea. We know what could be healthy and good for the mental health and well-being, and we work on it. So another school of psychology is environmental psychology that focuses on the transaction between individuals and their surroundings. It examines how the natural environment and our built environments shape us as individuals. It emphasizes how humans change the environment and how the environment changes humans' experiences and behavior. Behavioral psychology as well focuses on the study of observable behaviors and how they are influenced by the environment. Evolutionary psychology seeks to understand how human behavior and cognitive processes through the lens of evolutionary principles, and positive psychology focuses on the study of positive experiences, traits, and well-being in individuals and communities. It aims to understand and promote factors that contribute to fulfilling and meaningful life, as well as optimal human functioning. So the reason I mentioned these 5 theories of psychology is that if we understand them, if we integrate these kind of psychology schools by, of course, psychology experts will play a role in that, within our metaverse solutions to program our artificial intelligence algorithm to measure the impact on the people and how their behavior change, how they affect the environment and the environment affect them back, how we can actually give them positive experiences to boost their well-being and mental health. In a sense, we impact our cities and our cities impact us, so it's a two-way process. And by designing human-centric and smarter cities, we will increase creativity and productivity and eliminate or mitigate the negative impacts that I mentioned some of them in the beginning. Now, I'll move to another part which is related to the idea of losing jobs to artificial intelligence and how we can identify what differentiates the human mind from artificial intelligence. And people now are talking about the universal basic income. So most of us, many of us may be familiar, but it's a social policy concept that proposes providing every individual within a given society with a regular unconditional cash transfer to ensure basic level of economic security and to address poverty and inequality. And this is a solution that is now being discussed as a solution for the amount of jobs that will be lost to artificial intelligence and RPA. Yet, if we manage to identify what could be the advantage or the differentiation of the human mind and we can build on it, then this will be a different story. And utilizing artificial intelligence and the metaverse to automate repetitive, potential wasting tasks is not taking, we can look at it not in a way that it's taking jobs from people, but it's sort of freeing up human resources to focus on more strategic, creative, and value-added activities. So let's think what could differentiate the human mind from artificial intelligence and what can we build on it and have basically a humanized harmony with technology. And let's ask the question, could artificial intelligence have discovered gravity or relativity? And I asked this question to ChatGPT. Let's see what was the answer. And I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I'll just highlight the important parts. So it's important to know that artificial intelligence is a tool that relies on data and algorithms, and it doesn't possess inherent creativity or insight like human scientists. So stuff like gravity and relativity are significant breakthroughs in physics and requires deep insights and innovative thinking. Discovering fundamental principles like gravity or relativity often requires the ability to think in a creative way and make conceptual leaps. So this relies on human creativity. How many times I mentioned the word creativity, intuition, and insight. So artificial intelligence can augment human capabilities, but it's unlikely to independently generate ground-breaking scientific theories. Of course, it can play a role in assisting scientists by analyzing large data, simulating complex scenarios, and suggesting possible hypotheses. But artificial intelligence cannot come up with original creative ideas. And part of the reason is the element of chaos within the human mind creativity. And what I mean by chaos, let's, for example, see gravity. And by the way, this is not, I'm just giving an example by scientific theories, but this is applicable to any kind of creativity thinking, and it could apply to any field, basically not necessarily science. It's not like all humanity will become Einstein's and Newton. So it applies to any kind of creative thinking and any kind of field. So, for example, let's say gravity, a moon, an apple, and a random event where an apple is falling and a mind sitting there and then linking these events together. If you think of it, there is no logical connection between these events, right? And this is something that artificial intelligence cannot do. It cannot link stuff without any logical connection. Maybe some very smart artificial intelligence scientist will come and say, okay, I'm gonna train the algorithm to find links between this stuff. But again, this is not, you cannot define this as creativity because again, you have to train it. It's based on some kind of data, some kind of process that you train the algorithm on. But coming up with original ideas with the element of, and of course, definitely the discovery of gravity didn't come from this exact event. It's because the mind was prepared and has been going through a creative thinking method, which chaos was an element of it as well, until it came up with a concept like gravity. relativity is the same story. I mean, Einstein used to come up with his great ideas and theories, usually through thought experiments. And usually these thought experiments are also linking stuff that has no logical link between it. And that is also something that artificial intelligence cannot do. It cannot come up with original ideas, cannot link stuff that doesn't have any logical thing to it. So for example, relativity, in the early days of relativity, when he was trying to explain to his friend, you know, a moving train and two lightning bolts and someone standing still and someone in a moving train, two persons experiencing the same event in different ways. And here goes relativity. If you think of it, the thought process behind it is pretty, I mean, chaos is an element into it and pretty to somehow illogical, but the guy trained his mind to think in a way, in a creative way. That's the word, in a creative way. And that's what we need to capitalize on. We need to train our minds to think in a creative way in every industry and understand well what differentiates us from what artificial intelligence can do and build on that. So to sum up, to conclude, what we have presented today is how to thoroughly understand and acknowledge what the human mind is capable of and artificial intelligence is not, how to utilize the metaverse and artificial intelligence to harness the potential of the human mind, which is another way to truly implement the idea of a human-centric metaverse, adapting and utilizing new technologies to improve our well-being and mental health. We also discussed what could be the definition of a human-centric metaverse, what could be the layers of a human-centric metaverse, and what could be the applications of a human-centric metaverse, and some experiments on how to do that, and how to utilize the metaverse ecosystem of technologies to free up the human resources to focus on more strategic, creative, and value-added activities. So I've talked for long now. Maybe I can open the floor for some questions, Errol.
No, it's okay. I mean, it is really very interesting talk, because we learn all from you new things, because you have the experience. And therefore, you know, I would like to have the first question. As an, I would say, experienced person, what are you doing in Doers? You are also the founder and CEO of Doers. So what is Doers is really active?
So I mean, Doers, what we do at Doers are actually, I would say, turnkey metaverse and artificial intelligence solutions. So the idea of a human-centric metaverse was a key thing. You know, my technical background is urban design and architecture, so I come from this domain. And the whole idea when I started Doers was to actually implement the metaverse to achieve human-centric impact. Yet the company developed to offer turnkey metaverse solutions and artificial intelligence solutions for government organizations, for businesses, for any kind of businesses. And the idea of applications of human-centric is more into research and stuff. So it's not really a commercial thing that you promote unless you know, an urban designer or city planners or city decision makers want to implement something like that. But it's not a commercial thing. So our commercial part is focusing more on government organization, businesses, how we can help them utilize metaverse solutions and artificial intelligence to grow their businesses and to maybe implement within their governmental organizations metaverse strategies and artificial intelligence strategies. But also whenever we have the chance to actually offer these kind of human-centric solutions, we do. So for example, we did some work with Expo City Dubai because they are also having this theme on having a human-centric city, which is walkable, bikeable, and promoting activity and stuff. And we did work with them on some stuff like that, on how to measure actually the impact on the inhabitants of this district.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Hassan, as I see, there are not questions from the floor, okay. Because I think they need time to digest, because you really taught to us a lot of things at a short time. We are really very thankful for your speech. We hope in the future to have the opportunity to welcome you as our guest at our university, Istanbul Aydin University. I can say that you really honored with your personality and speech Istanbul Aydin University blockchain talks in June. We are very thankful to you and for your time.
Thank you so much, Errol. The pleasure is mine, and thanks once again for Istanbul Aydin University for hosting me. And I'm looking forward to having more talks and discussions with you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. All the best. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, you too.